So if you've been reading the Blue Lock manga as of late, you know that there was a lot of chatter going on with the recent chapter, especially as of April Fools, where the official leaks or the official translation has dropped. And right now you might have a Blue Lock fan or friend on your timeline talking about what's happened in the recent chapter 298. A big plot twist has happened, something that some people anticipated, some didn't think he would actually go through with because of how popular this character is. But Nagi Seishiro has been quote unquote locked off from Blue Lock. Now this has come to a shock, especially to me, just because I just anticipated that Nagi was going to have that awakening, especially even after the Ubers game where they lost and Nagi had a whole moment with Rayo that he was basically going to awaken and actually live up to the potential that everybody, including the fans, thought he was going to be. And the Nagi downfall has been happening ever since the NEL really started, and it's really only been one factor, is that Nagi has been restricted with his relationship with Rayo. Rayo is trying to work with Nagi to develop and become the greatest. Rayo is a different type of player. He's an all-around type of guy. He's good at defense, good playmaker, not the greatest scorer, but he kind of does a little bit of everything. So him playing alongside a great talent like Nagi, of course, is going to make him look way better because he can rack up assists or even give himself opportunities to score on his own, or even with somebody like Chigiri on their team, where he could take advantage of Chigiri's speed and kind of make himself a diversion and score off of that. Rayo is very versatile. Nagi, on the other hand, we know he's a striker that mainly goes off of traps and being able to use his touch to get into openings because he's not the greatest dribbler and set up for his goals. And I thought Nagi's awakening was going to be something to where maybe he develops a dribble that helps get him into his traps better and maybe create his own shots, maybe develop his ego a little bit more, and he starts to develop better off-ball movement, kind of similar to Isagi. But based on what we've seen, Nagi has not really improved at all. If anything, it seems like he was trying to develop with Rayo until that last game where he finally decided that he was not gonna work with Rayo. He wanted to do it on his own, which he was doing to a pretty good level until he started to try to go for the feints. We know the 5-stage volley was not something he was going to be able to do time and time again, because even Ego said that is a great goal, but I don't think he has the formula to replicate it again. And we seen after the first volley, he tried for the second one, Otoya stopped it, and once he stopped Nagi, Nagi was then forced into making the decision, either evolve or make a pass. Unfortunately, he made a pass to Rayo, and Rayo tried to score, but Bachara blocked the pass, and Bachara ended up scoring to finish the game. People have pointed out that this whole sequence has two callbacks in one. Nagi passing the Rayo is very similar to Isagi in the very first chapter, where he passes to his one teammate to try to win the game, but ends up being a bad idea from him. And then Bachara telling Nagi that he needs to do it alone, that you're failing as an egoist right now. It's similar to when Bachara was getting left behind in the second selection, and Nagi said that if they were to win, they wouldn't pick him because he's not useful right now. And out of all the eliminations, this is obviously the biggest one and the most heartbreaking, because Nagi's potential by everyone has been said that it's almost unlimited because of his reflexes of trapping, his ability to create off of the touch to score. Everybody kind of feared Nagi at one point because he's just hard to predict when he's in the box, and no one can really do what he does. And in the side story, you know, you had the developments with him and Ball's rivalry, which is honestly one of my favorite things about Nagi. I love that pairing, because I feel like that dynamic does way more for him than, you know, the Rayo stuff, which, like anybody else, I don't know if anybody has felt about it, the Nagi Rayo dynamic was just kind of overbearing for me. It was like getting a little too much, because it's like, all right, we know, you know, this kind of has some undertones to it, and then neither of them are developing like that. So I was hoping something from the side story, like Nagi getting that fire lit under him, was going to happen in the Barca game. Now, I wasn't one of these people that was expecting a Nagi hat trick or anything like that. Maybe a brace. I could have seen that, because Barca has been the punching bag for everyone in all these games. But the fact that he didn't score at all, and he really didn't do anything, I'm guessing until like the very end when he tried to create a shot or a play for everyone and it didn't work, that's a very bad look. And the fact that he dropped at one point from 60 million, where he was the top 2, all the way down to 24, under Nanase and Kiora, which I don't really agree with. I get what this could lead to, but you know, I don't see how you can look at Nagi and just see that, okay, he's just missing something, compared to Nanase, who literally has done nothing except just follow Rin's orders the entire time, and he's got enough to be in the top 23. Kiora didn't even play until the final game. He had 1 assist. Apparently that's enough to get him a $25 million bid, which is crazy thinking about, but you know, Kanashiro's the one writing this, so I'm gonna see what he can do. My trust in Kanashiro is always wavering because I always say Kanashiro is great in the first half of a story, but that second half is where things can either get even better or it's gonna start looking shaky. I'm looking forward to next chapter kind of being centered around the elimination. I don't know if we're gonna get like some type of twist, like he's gonna actually end up making it or not. But one thing I want to see is like Baro's reaction, obviously Nagi's reaction, or this might be the most emotion we're gonna see from him, because even when he wasn't doing great, he's still kind of the same person. I'm pretty sure we all know how Rail's gonna feel Chigiri, and I wonder if we're gonna see something from Ego too, because you know Ego also thought highly of Nagi, so the emotional tone is gonna be there next week. But is there going to be a twist? Because we know the fan perspective can be added in there because the fans can help choose the bottom three of how that can work. I don't know if he's going to retcon that or keep that into where Nagi's going to make it because of the fans. But if they actually stick with it and he doesn't make it and he's out of the top 23, I am wondering if the bid is going to stay. Nagi doesn't make the U20 team. Are they going to build a Nagi arc to where it's going to be mainly taken care of in the side story where he's with this club that gave him his initial bid and he develops an insane work ethic and drive with that club? And then eventually maybe we see him down the line, I don't know, in the pros, or if he's ever going to come back, or is it going to be Nagi's going to now have his own story if you want to follow him in the side story? I don't know. Also, Nagi fell into that category of talented genius, and seeing one of the most talented geniuses in the series kind of fall into the depths of just mediocrity, it sucks, man. I'm really hoping that Nagi can come back. I actually want to see an interaction between him and Chris Prince. I think that would be really interesting. Plus, Chris Prince was kind of confused with Nagi and like, damn, is this dude a genius? Is he a freak? Like, never seen anybody like him. And then, you know, seeing him not make it was pretty shocking. So hopefully Nagi and like this whole chapter next week is just filled with like emotion and kind of just figuring out like, wow, what happened, you know. But I do want to get into some of the other players. Like these other biddings are kind of interesting. Like Shido being number 3 with a $160 million bid is kind of just stupid in my opinion, because my first thought was maybe PXG just, you know, gave him a ton of money because Ren is potentially going to Madrid with Say, which is like really nuts to think about. That's gonna be crazy if he actually takes that bid. But 160 million, mainly because Ren is not going there. He's gonna be the second option behind Loki. I don't even know if he's gonna be better than Loki at any point. The relationship with Charles could develop into something, because you know maybe that offsets Loki and maybe he ends up becoming the main guy for PXG. I don't know. Shido doesn't necessarily have a character direction or motivation that really makes me believe that he's gonna be thrown out there with a lot of story and depth and like a lot of big moments. He's gonna have flashy goals, and that's kind of it. That's what Kanashiro made him to be at this point, because he hasn't given Shido anything to work with as to why I should even care about him in the future. But he's one of my favorite characters, literally second behind number 1 being Baro, who Baro got a $150 million bid. I didn't expect him to get 200 million. Some people thought he was gonna get a crazy high bid. I didn't expect him to. Ubers is the only team that's really gonna give him that money, and they already got him locked in, so they probably just get through in another 50 million just because. So I'm glad that he got up there, top 5 definitely, because if he fell beyond top 5, we would have had some issues. But tied for the most in the league, fire. Kunagami finishing 8th with the wild card training and all that nonsense that he was doing throughout the NEL, just to finish behind Chigiri and Rail, both players that he literally played with, and the only 2 he played with in the second selection, and he still isn't apparently worth more than them, is nuts. Like, that is crazy. Like, Kunagami, I thought coming into this was probably gonna get the number 6 spot behind the other top 5, but to get 8th, and he wasn't even that far up compared to Otoya, I don't know, man. Kunagami stocks might be in the gutter. The other rankings are kind of whatever to me. Obviously, there can be some throw-ins like, are you having that much? And Fukaku, because I'm pretty sure he just filled in whatever fucking spot was left for the goalie. So this was looking to be the U20 roster, and I'm sure we can all think of what the formation could be like and who's going to be on the bench and not playing with these 23 that are going to be going forward. And as for what I want for Nagi, hopefully he goes into the arc of he's going to have a crazy will and drive to get better and better and better with this club that gave him the money, because I think he's still going to be able to play. I just don't know if he's going to play for the U20. That's the big question going into the next chapter. If he makes it in through the fan voting, That'd be kind of cool because it shows that Nagi, everyone believes in him, but he has to have like a crazy development and training leading into the U20. If he doesn't make it, then he's just not going to be in the U20 arc. I mean, damn, that's a hell of a fall off and pretty bold from Kanashiro. I got to give authors respect when they pull the trigger on some things because, you know, some authors look at their fan favorite characters and like, you know, I can't really do this with this character because what if fans stop reading him? We know Kanashiro is a out of the mind bastard at times. So, you know, hopefully he can deliver on what this is going to be. But I'm really looking forward to this next arc because thank God the NAL is over. I feel like the PXG game was good, but not as great as some people made it out to be. You know, personally, I feel like it dragged way too long. But neither here nor there. Leave a like if you enjoy. Let me know if you want more Blue Lock content in the future. I'll let you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, Kim Jong, yeah, big bone. Wonder bread, man, make your bitch big.